Hey guys, I hope you are all doing well. Today we have a different type of video because today we got stories from Reddit r/horror stories. These are different from the usual Skinwalker stories, and I hope that you guys like the change. So yeah, if you do enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get straight into story one. Have you heard of the game BitLife? It's a text-based game that you download on your phone that lets you make choices and develop your bit life by aging them up. I found it while looking for a game to occupy myself during a 6-hour flight, and against all odds, I got hooked to it. I'm not much of a gamer, unless you count Candy Crush, but for some reason this game really drew me in. All the options and unique scenarios just kept me coming back for more. My first bit life died as a mid-level salesman. The next was a famous musician. The one after was a notorious serial killer. Every new bit life was different, and every one more interesting than the next. One day, I was lying on my couch sipping on a vitamin water as my latest bit life lived out his final years. He was a very successful CEO, married to his partner for 40 years, and was the loving, adopted father of 2 boys. The black death screen popped up as I aged him up one last time. Gary Newell died at the age of 82. He passed away peacefully in his sleep. I let out a satisfied sigh. Gary lived a very fulfilling, very successful life. I took another sip of my water, letting the silence of my apartment envelop me for a few moments. I checked the time. 9:18 p.m. Enough time for me to start a new life. I clicked the little sperm icon to start again. My phone froze, the screen becoming unresponsive for a few seconds. Frustrated, I locked and unlocked the screen to try to get it to work again. It flickered back to life, the app opening again. I gasped as double-checked the new name. Rita Thatcher. The exact same name as me. I let out a laugh, trying to imagine what the chances are that the random name would be mine. I decided I was going to give little Rita the best life possible. Make her a CEO or a famous painter, maybe even a movie star. Feeling excited, I took a look at the information screen. I was born a female in Glasgow, UK. My eyes went wide as I double-checked the location. I was born in Glasgow. My excitement slowly faded to a dull sense of dread as I continued to read. Born 28th November. Same day as me. The feeling of dread grew as I read the names of the parents. David Thatcher, writer, age 29. Willow Thatcher, police officer, age 27. Those are my parents' names. My dad was a writer and my mom was a police officer back in those days. I quickly did the math, and the ages also matched. With shaking hands, I clicked age up. Age 1 year. My mother and father had a baby boy named Jensen. My blood turned to ice as I read the text again. No way, I said to myself over and over, unable to believe that this is really happening. My stomach wrenched itself into knots as I thought of my poor, sweet brother. I clicked age up. Nothing showed up for age 2 and 3. With each blank screen, the feeling of dread that sat inside me eased up just a little. I tried to imagine what the odds of all this being a coincidence was. Probably impossibly low. I clicked age up. Age 4. Your parents want to buy you and your brother a pet spaniel named Daphne. I let out a shriek as I dropped my phone and scrambled to the other side of the couch. I fell off the edge, my butt hitting the cold, tiled floor. I sat there for a bit, curled up and taking deep breaths. I remembered Daphne's sweet brown eyes and golden coat. My parents got her for Jensen and I when I was 4. She was my sweet angel, my best friend for 5 years. I sat on the floor for a few seconds more as the weight in my stomach eased up enough for me to get up. I went to the kitchen, grabbed a glass from the cabinet, and poured myself some water. I leaned against the counter, taking slow sips as the feeling of dread faded, little by little. I placed the empty glass in the sink and turned the hot water on, grabbing the sponge and dish soap as the water heated up. Still in a daze, I cleaned the glass, rinsing off the suds and placing it on the rack to dry. I think I'm just tired, overworked and delusional from working a double shift. I'll just turn off the game and go to bed. I jumped as a ping sounded from the lounge. It's my phone, letting me know I had a message. I made my way to the lounge, sitting back on the couch as I picked up my phone and glanced at its screen. BitLife was still open, its text waiting patiently for me as I swiped down and checked the notification. It was from BitLife. "Don't leave just yet," it said. "You must be losing your mind, Rita," I told myself as I clicked age up, bracing myself for whatever came next. "It's just a game," I tried to tell myself. It didn't help. Age, 6 years. My dad is now addicted to alcohol. I tried to lock the phone, my hands fumbling over the button over and over in a panic. The screen refused to lock, the text becoming blurry as I started to cry. In frustration, I threw my phone across the room. It gave a loud crack. As it bounced against the wall, its screen ripping off and hanging from the main body. The phone started pinging. Slowly at first, but picking up speed until it became a torrent of noise. Mechanically, I made my way over to it, delicately picking up the screen as its cabling snapped off and left the main body behind. Impossibly, notifications flooded across the top of its lit screen. "Don't leave just yet, Rita," it said, all from BitLife. I watched as they flickered by. Suddenly they stopped, one final message popping up from the text app. It was from my dad. "Keep playing, Rita." I clicked age up. Age, 7 years. My brother Jensen died at the age of 6 inches. My eyesight became more blurry as tears flowed down my face. He died in a car crash. My dad was driving that car. He picked him up from nursery school and was on his way to pick me up from my school when it happened. It was a head-on collision. The police found my dad over the limit and halfway across the other lane. Another notification, this time from my mom. "Keep going." Numbly, I clicked age up. Age, 8 years. My mom died at the age of 35. The phone speakers came to life from the other side of the room, giving me a start. 2 voices flooded out of it. It's been years, but I recognize my parents' voices. It started out hushed, both of them whispering to each other so as to not wake little Rita. Soon the voices grew louder and louder, filling the living room as they screamed angrily at each other. I cupped my ears, trying to drown out the sounds. It grew louder, the noise filling the room until I screamed, trying to drown them out. Suddenly it stopped. A door slammed, and the sound of heavy footsteps marched away. I heard someone open a kitchen drawer, the utensils clanging together inside it as someone rifled around. They pulled something out, slamming the drawer shut as they made their way back to where they came. I heard another ping come from my phone. She was stabbed by my father during an argument. The screaming turned my blood to ice. It started off loud and shrill, the sound reverberating throughout the house. It started becoming hoarse and choked before cutting off to a gargling silence. I cupped my hands over my ears, dropping the screen as I curled into a ball. I began screaming, telling it to stop as the sounds of my dad's labored breathing joined the sounds of his knife. Suddenly, it cut off with another ping. As my vision returned, I looked up at the screen. "Keep playing, Rita." I clicked age up. Age, 9 years. My father committed suicide in prison at age 38. I've been sent to an orphanage. I clicked again. Age up. Age, 13 years. I was adopted by Adam Whiteley and Sarah Whiteley. Another ping. Almost there. Age 15 years. My adoptive father hit me for not finishing dinner. Ping. Age up. Age 18 years. I ran away from home. Age 19 years. I got a job as a barista. Age 20 years. 22 years. 25. My breathing is shallow, my head is fuzzy, and my hands are shaking as I stare at the screen. 25 years. I turned 26 today. I jumped as I heard another ping. Almost there. I clicked age up. The black death screen popped up. Rita Thatcher died at the age of 26. I screamed as I heard my front door creak open. She was killed while at home. Story 2. This is my scariest 911 call. And it happened during training. I needed the job. I really did. Without a bachelor's, my previous nursing work hadn't paid much. Overall, I took the stress and abuse while barely making over minimum wage. Just enough for me and my 4-year-old son Julian to get by. So, yeah. Life as a single black mother wasn't exactly easy. I found myself being fueled by internal drive rather than joy or comfortable cash. Only I wasn't a struggling mother in her mid to late 40s. I was 23. While most of my friends and coworkers could go to college or party on the weekends, I was caught in a jail of long hours and tight budgets. An even more frustrating lifestyle since I lived in a vibrant, bigger city like Columbus, Georgia. I could never hit the bars or hell, just go out and meet hot guys. The fun with Julian became my only breaks from this stressful working-class prison sentence. But still, I tried. Even through my binge eating and drinking, I stayed at an average weight. While I may have been forced to mature beyond my years, my looks hadn't caught up with my old mindset. I was still a pretty young woman. I had nice cheekbones accompanied by a pair of sultry lips. My eyes big and radiant. Whenever I had the time, I'd even work out or straighten my long black hair. Only those moments were few and far between while I was in nursing. Yet somehow I persevered. I dressed well without being bougé. I was strong and independent without being a ratchet bitch. I stayed friendly and optimistic regardless of my fading sanity. And then finally, it happened. I got the call back. A job offer to go somewhere higher than this hell. I was going to be a 911 call taker. As crazy as it sounds, the schedule would be less draining. The pay much better. And working for the Columbus Police Department meant I'd get all sorts of benefits, not to mention the chance to grow through various promotions. Of course, I knew this was going to be stressful. I'd heard all the horror stories from both former call takers I knew and from the literal horror stories I'd seen on Reddit. But I had to think of Julian. I'd now have more time with him. Less time being underpaid, angry, and fucking tired. Krista Highs could now live. The only problem was training. This shit was going to take 8 weeks. 8 weeks stuck in a classroom. Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Obviously, I wanted to be prepared before being thrown to the snarling wolves assaulting our 911 hotlines. But shit, it was boring. We had to go over countless textbooks, all the protocols, even take a crash course in CPR. Not to mention the hours and hours of role play. Like a dull drama class full of amateur hacks, my classmates and I took turns playing caller and call taker. I guess it made for an easy $13 an hour. But mentally, this became an unbearable test for our patience. After a month or so, these dress rehearsals finally led to opening night. On Friday, we'd be taking calls for the very first time. Live calls. I was excited but nervous. Hell, all of us were. Like soldiers prepping for war, me and the other 4 trainees arrived at 8 a.m. sharp. Our classroom was lower than the police station's first floor, a literal basement. A dimly lit hallway took us past clunker vending machines and straight to this bunker of a 911 center. Nothing but cold air all around us. Our instructor, Ms. Wilder, had already given us a tour during our first week. On one end of the center was the 911 floor itself, a series of cubicles full of huge monitors and computer screens. An arena that veered between Wall Street histrionics and 9 to 5 monotony. There were no windows, no joy. The lighting appropriate for a clinical lab, as was the mood. When the calls were coming, the workers went into a pissy frenzy, and when the calls died, things looked agonizing, boring. Within those bland gray walls, the call center was the doldrums of the Columbus Police Department. 2 double doors separated this torturous telethon from the rest of the 911 center, from our classroom. Right now, I counted about 7 middle-aged and exhausted people working the lines. 2 call takers, 4 dispatchers, and a really obnoxious female supervisor. She was an overweight slob of a woman. Then again, the vast majority of the employees here were overweight. We'd all been told it was an inevitable side effect of the job, but my classmates and I still had to endure another month of training. Yeah, we'd be answering calls. Supervised calls. But hey, it beat having to do terrible role-playing or memorize countless run codes. So there we were in the cramped classroom, a claustrophobic space of old tables, cheap CPR dummies, and a whiteboard. There were no windows, no escape. The closed door kept us trapped in our own little world. Like stranded explorers around a campfire, us 5 trainees stayed close to the portable heater, our only solace from the unrelenting cold. Ms. Wilder and her assistant Kelly stood by the front desk, right by the large laptop. Our 911 manual sat beside the laptop. The manual, our script for the variety of upcoming emergencies we were about to face. Its withered pages older than stone tablets. I sat near my classmates. There was Tanya, a pretty black girl in her early 20s. Her and I went to high school together, and Tanya was still just as charming, loud, and petite as she was then. Her flamboyant clothes only matched by her colorful, claw-like fingernails. Then there was Abby, the only one of us who was married. A tall, plus-size blonde with glasses and sarcasm to spare. Her studying and immense knowledge at this job put us all to shame. Even the instructors. At 18, Catherine was the youngest out of us. She was a brunette with a thick southern accent. I thought she played dumber than she really was. Or at least I thought she was just trying to be funny. And finally, there was Patrick, the only guy in the class, one of 2 guys in the entire 911 center. Patrick was funny and cute, and pretty weird as well. Scrawny with green eyes, his morbid humor threw everyone off. Then again, he was also a horror writer, and from what I understood, even posted on Reddit. Given the lack of men out here, I could tell the thirstier, middle-aged female call-takers constantly kept their hungry eyes on him. He was also 27 and older than the rest of us. Hell, I think he even had a degree. So who the fuck knows how he ended up here. Our instructors were cool for the most part. The stickler was Ms. Wilder, an older black lady with glasses and hair strewn about all over the place. But she respected us, and we respected her kind but authoritative style. Like a veteran sergeant, she'd experienced her fair share of war stories on those phone lines. And this was going back to when they didn't use computers. On the other hand, Kelly was a little younger, more hip. A blonde Southern belle with a pleasant attitude and face. And yeah, we walked all over her like high school rebels on a sweet substitute teacher. But right now, us 5 trainees were sitting in nervous anticipation, awaiting our death sentence of a first call. Under Ms. Wilder and Kelly's watchful eyes, this would be our first taste of the call-taker life. Clinging to my headset, I stole a look at my classmates' restless faces. For once, we weren't even shooting the shit at 8 a.m., not with the battlefield looming before us. Ms. Wilder checked the laptop one more time. She hit the touchpad and stepped back. The laptop screen and lights beamed to life. "Alrighty," she said in a strong tone. Ms. Wilder confronted the class. Playing her right-hand man, Kelly tried to emulate Ms. Wilder's strict gaze. "Who's first?" Ms. Wilder challenged us. Staying quiet, we avoided eye contact with this firing squad. And our fate. Silent tension dominated the room. Ms. Wilder's wicked smile vanished. Battling my anxiety, I thought about taking one for the team. After all, it's not like I could forever avoid confronting that call. But right when I was about to step up, Ms. Wilder fixated her on Tanya. "You first, Tanya," Ms. Wilder said in a staunch tone. Our instructor was back in drill sergeant mode. Groaning, Tanya stood up and walked toward the laptop. Her and I exchanged weary smile. "You got it, girl," I quipped. "Man, I hope," Tanya exclaimed. Kelly guided Tanya to the desk, plugged in Tanya's headset. Watching over them like a self-serious stoop advisor, Ms. Wilder motioned toward the manual. "Just remember, you can use that anytime." The words didn't exactly encourage Tanya. She flashed me an anguished look. "We'll be right here," Ms. Wilder went on. "Oh, Lord," Tanya said through the nerves. My classmates and I couldn't help but chuckle. At least we weren't going to be the first guinea pig. Poor Tanya. Leaning in toward Tanya, Kelly pointed at the screen. "Okay, your call's coming in there. Click it and you'll follow the script." "Okay," Tanya said. "We'll hear everything, so don't be nervous." Tanya's trembling hands put on the headset. She smiled at me. "Ooh, child. You got the volume up, right?" Ms. Wilder asked Kelly. "Yes, ma'am," Kelly replied as she backed away from the desk. Curious, Catherine looked toward Ms. Wilder. "Is it busy today?" Ms. Wilder gave her a mischievous smile. "Oh, it will be. Trust me." Like an apocalyptic alarm, a ringing phone blared through the room, straight from the laptop. The sound jolted Tanya into a frenzy. "Oh, Jesus," she shouted. "Answer it!" Ms. Wilder said. Recovering fast, Tanya's focus overtook her goofy charm. She clicked on the call. Static blared off the laptop speakers. Like a lost signal on the radio, everything was white noise. Unease crossed Tanya's face. "Columbus 911. What's the address of your emergency?" Just a sea of static greeted her. Wave after wave of mechanical screams. "Columbus 911. What's the address of your emergency?" Tanya repeated. Nothing. The steady static sliced through the air. I thought I could even hear faint footsteps through the noise, even faint voices. "Keep going," Ms. Wilder commanded Tanya. Tanya kept her eyes on the screen. "Columbus 911. A sudden click cut her off. A hollow dial tone blared like a heart monitor's flatline. Defeated, Tanya just shook her head. "Ooh, child." "No, you did good," Ms. Wilder reassured her. Through the fear, Tanya snatched off the headset. "Definitely," Kelly added. Ms. Wilder faced the rest of us. "Just remember, never hang up." Tanya cracked a nervous smile. "Whew, I was about to. That shit weirded me out." Keeping her scholarly seriousness, Ms. Wilder faced her. "Well, those kind of calls happen all the time, so you better get used to them." Patrick was next. He wasn't eager to say the least. Even his wacky coolness morphed into anxiety once he put on that headset. I flashed him a reassuring smile. He just offered me his cute grin and an awkward laugh. Overbearing as always, Ms. Wilder stayed right on him. "Now, just use the manual if you have to." "Yes, ma'am," Patrick said. Tanya gave me a light punch on the arm. You ready? She teased. Not at all, girl, I replied. Man, you got this. She looked over at Patrick. You better answer that call, Patrick. Patrick smirked. I'll try. Another ring interrupted us. Okay, Patrick said, trying to calm himself. But those rings were painful shocks to us newbies. Even when we weren't the ones answering, the rest of us stayed nervous. After all, we'd grown close over the course of the training. A call-taker commune. Patrick forced himself to answer. Columbus 911. What's the address of your emergency? He asked with the memorized mechanical tone we'd all mastered for that opening question. An even more turbulent static rang out. Patrick cringed at the sound. Hell, we all did. The concert of hissing continued, loud and disorienting. Aggravated, Tanya covered her ears. Damn, girl, what is that? But to me, there was no doubt. This had to be the same caller. I could hear the same movement in the background, those same low, muffled voices, the same fizzles and pops through those sonic shrieks. 911 Columbus, what's the address of your emergency? Patrick said in a nervous stutter. Ms. Wilder leaned in toward the laptop. Is that the same number? No. A dial tone overtook the mysterious call. The otherworldly sound ceased. Just like that, it was over. Confused, we all watched Patrick slide off his headset. Abby forced a smile. Who was that? I don't know, Patrick said. Playful, Tanya confronted Mrs. Wilder. What's going on, Ms. Wilder? That's two of them now. Is the connection working? Catherine asked. Like a politician fending off a barrage of questions, Ms. Wilder waved us off. Trust me, it's normal. You're gonna get weird calls like that. Great, Patrick joked. Oh yeah, she's right, Kelly added. Her unwavering support of Miss Wilder still oh so extra. Not missing a beat, Ms. Wilder turned her attention to Patrick. But you didn't hang up, that's good. Remember to never hang up, Tanya playfully finished. Ms. Wilder just gave her a weak smile. Right. I couldn't help but crack up, even with the creepy static still stuck in my head, still replaying through my mind. I'm just telling y'all what to expect, Ms. Wilder told us. You're gonna have to be professional when you get out on the floor. In a frenetic burst, the locked doorknob began rattling, as if the brass knob was pulsating to life. Quick, jarring turns. Startled, the whole class looked at it. We're training! Ms. Wilder shouted at the top of her lungs. Now she was in serious drill sergeant mode. The rattling grew slower, weaker. I'm sorry, but we're training, Ms. Wilder yelled, and the knob then faded to stillness. A slow death. Each of us stared at it. Besides a few forced laughs or smiles, we couldn't mask our unease. Ms. Wilder's chuckle shattered the silence as she faced us. Well, now that's over with. It's your turn, Abby. They wired Abby in, and then another call arrived. Always the prized teacher's pet, Abby answered before the end of the first ring, before Miss Wilder could even jump in. And there was the same static, the same waves of scorched sound, a scrambled symphony. Columbus 911, what's the address of your emergency? Abby said into the mic. The static persisted, only now I could hear clear movement. We all could. Loud footsteps played over the white noise, staggering footsteps, falling furniture. Confused, Ms. Wilder leaned in closer toward the screen. Columbus 911, what's the address of your emergency? Abby repeated. Ms. Wilder faced Kelly. That's the same number. Kelly checked the screen. The fear made her eyes go wide. Oh my God, you're right. The one I did? Patrick asked. Behind a worried gaze, Ms. Wilder stared at the laptop, at the listed number. Yes, she said, her voice hindered by unease. That's the same one? Tanya exclaimed. The static scratching grew unrelenting. Like a scratched record from hell, the sounds overwhelmed our minds. Trapped in an awkward silence, Abby turned to Ms. Wilder for help. About the only thing she could do. A painful scream shot through the static. The voice of a tortured singer on this messy electronica. The female scream was low but agonizing, and it soon gave way to desperate breaths. None of my classmates said a word. There wasn't even a lame attempt at humor amidst this shared terror. The woman's voice tried to break through the constant static. "Help. Me?" she strained to say through the gasping breaths. Ms. Wilder faced Abby. "Talk to her," she said, unable to hide her trembling tone. In the call, the woman's heavy footsteps were heard stumbling around, her constant groans as painful as her scream. Like a deer in the headlights, Abby stared at the screen but couldn't utter a word. Paleness permeated her face. "Help." "Me," the woman said. The call ended before she could even finish, as if the woman's life support had been unplugged in one merciless pull. Ms. Wilder didn't wait to break the silence, but her terrible acting couldn't hide how much these last few calls had even unsettled her. "Okay, that was good, Abby," she said. Shuttling us through this lingering fear like cattle, she herded in the next trainee. "Catherine, it's your turn." Battling both the goosebumps and the cold, I folded my arms. I decided to speak just to get my mind off those disturbing replays, to get the static out of my head. "Ms. Wilder, what do we do in situations like that?" I asked. "Like when it's the same caller bugging us?" Ms. Wilder gave me a dismissive wave. "Oh, it's just prank callers. We get a bunch of them." Catherine sat at the laptop. Immediately, another call came roaring in. After checking the number, Ms. Wilder flashed an excited smile. "All right, this one's different," she said. Kelly let out a sigh of relief. "Whew, thank God." "You and me both, girl," Tanya said. Catherine took the call, but the static dashed our safety. The same static. All the intense white noise lent us even more chills in this cold classroom. Worried, Catherine looked to our instructors. Ms. Wilder motioned toward the laptop. "Just talk to them." A long, eerie cry erupted from the laptop. Too human to be a dying animal. Too familiar as well. The woman had returned. "Oh shit," Tanya yelled. Like a terrified wax figure, Catherine stared at the computer, her eyes wide the fuck open, her mouth too paralyzed to even scream. The constant static and scrambling soundscape drifted around our atmosphere. Throughout the classroom, Ms. Wilder took a nervous step back, and then the woman's voice came on the phone. "Help." "Me?" she said in a dying gasp. "Help. Me? Please?" The static spiraled out of control. An avalanche of sound. "Catherine, talk to her," Ms. Wilder shouted. Shivering, Tanya stood up. "How's she calling from a different number?" her scared voice shouted, but we never got an answer, and Catherine never got the opening question out. A harsh bump erupted from the laptop. A vicious thud, and the phone call ended well before the woman's screams could reemerge. Each of us were left in horrified suspense. My eyes stayed on the computer, my body a trembling mess. I felt helpless, especially with the looming inevitability of who was going up there next. Rattled, Tanya pointed at the computer. "Ms. Wilder, who's that woman?" Like a victim in denial, Ms. Wilder avoided eye contact with us. "She's just a prank caller, guys. I'm telling you." Kelly gave her a weird look. Not even she was buying this shit. Ms. Wilder helped Catherine stand up. "Y'all better get used to them," Ms. Wilder muttered. "That's all I'm saying." The heater had no chance at healing my scars, especially when adrenaline now joined the fear and cold. I kept staring at the laptop, forced to face my fate. Stuck in a catatonic state, Catherine stumbled back to her seat. The 5 of us now made a frightened formation. "Your turn, Krista," Ms. Wilder yelled out. I sat there, hesitant, unable to console myself before the call. Ms. Wilder waved me over. "Come on, it's your turn," she said. "Ain't nobody gonna hurt you." With the slow march of a child heading for the principal's office, I walked up to that front desk. I could feel everyone's eyes glued to my every step. "You got this, girl," I heard Tanya say. "Hey, maybe they'll hang up," Patrick said as a reassuring joke. At least they were trying to encourage me on this creepy Friday morning. But I couldn't smile. Not now. Not on my 9/11 Judgment Day. Kelly and Ms. Wilder crowded around me as I sat in front of the laptop. I plugged in the headset. My shivering grip placed it over my ears. Now I really felt chained to the computer, to this forthcoming call. Upon facing the laptop, I felt more anxiety sink into me. So many programs were already up there. A dispatcher box, the phone line, various call taker tabs, all of which I'd seen in the books. But all of it so much scarier on screen. Ms. Wilder pointed me to the phone line icon. "Now, when that rings, just click on it to answer it," she said. "Yes, ma'am," I replied. Trying to focus, I avoided my classmates, even when they were just being supportive. Tanya and Patrick, my constant cheerleaders. Through the burgeoning excitement, I had to wait. My skin sweating in the cold, I readjusted the headset's mic. But I didn't have to wait long. "Ring, ring," the laptop screamed. The telephone line icon shook with ferocity. The incoming call from 706-645-4545. I fought against the nerves. I had to power through for me. For Julian. In one swift click, I answered it. "Columbus 911, what's the address of your emergency?" I said in a strong voice, channeling my inner Ms. Wilder. Like a malfunctioning robocall, I heard the white noise grip me. The incessant static sang out. But I didn't give up. Not with Ms. Wilder breathing down my neck. And with Julian depending on me back at home. "Columbus 911, what's the address of your emergency?" I said again. The static stayed steady. The unsettling noises, the sound waves of the dead. Seemingly a distress signal from outer space. Or beyond the grave. "This can't be happening again," I heard Kelly say to Ms. Wilder. "Hold on," Ms. Wilder told her. I kept my eyes on screen, further drawn in once I heard the movements amongst the static. Clumsy movements. "Help. Me." The woman's voice crawled to me. Everyone went silent. The fear almost overpowered my own voice and strength. Almost? "Ma'am, what's the address of your emergency?" I asked. I could feel my hands clenching tight. A nervous tick, well beyond my control. The footsteps grew heavier in the static storm, as if the woman was mustering whatever strength she had left just for this one call. "Help. Me," she said. Immersed, I leaned in closer toward the laptop. "Ma'am! Help me!" the woman cried out in a painful howl. Startled, I fell back. I heard Tanya shout in fright. "Help us!" the woman screamed into the stifling static. "Help us, please!" Like fellow asylum patients, a collection of tormented cries joined her. Female, male. Agonizing screams, weakened whispers, pitiful sobbing, all of it poured through the line. All these people in obvious pain. All of them dying. I heard shelves collapse around the screams. More chaotic movement erupted, their terrified panic well on display. "Help us!" an old lady yelled. "Send somebody!" A panicking man hurled at me. Their voices all grew louder and louder. With the static and unsettling beat, their desperate chants formed a desperate final plea. My headset shook from their sheer force. "Please, help us," a young woman whimpered. The victims' voices overlapped, fused together for this frightening frenzy. Their room of death clamored for me. And I was too scared to say a fucking word, much less follow protocol. "Please help us," the woman from earlier screamed, her voice now guttural and pouring from a wounded soul. Frightened, I pushed myself away from the keyboard. My headset tumbled off. My hectic hands hit the touchpad, ending the call. I'd inadvertently sent us into a suffocating silence. Breathing heavy, I stood still and faced the screen. A red glow now decorated the phone line icon. The box's text read, "Call ended 1:44 minute and 44 seconds of pure terror." I noticed my scared classmates watching me. Our 911 training course now transformed into a horror house. "What'd you do that for?" Ms. Wilder shouted in dismay, her voice a beaming defibrillator through our dead silence. Startled, I confronted her disapproving glare. "I told you to never hang up," Ms. Wilder yelled. A calm Kelly stepped toward me. "Yeah, you should have followed protocol, Krista." "What is you talking about?" Tanya shouted. I looked over at Tanya, glad to have her on my side. Back in disciplinarian mode, Ms. Wilder confronted the class. "Look, this is training. I've told y'all you're gonna get calls like this." "So?" Tanya replied. Ms. Wilder glowered at me. "And you're not supposed to hang up, Krista." Ever. For some reason, I looked back at Kelly, knowing good and well whose side this bitch was on. "She's right," Kelly said, a stoic calmness returning to her voice. For that matter, both her and Ms. Wilder were way too calm. "Wait, so this was all bullshit?" Tanya asked. The epiphany spread amongst us. I was caught somewhere between relieved and mad as hell. "Holy shit," Patrick muttered. Ms. Wilder cracked a wicked smile.
And that's it. Thank you for sticking around. If you enjoyed these stories, leave a like and subscribe. And as always, sleep well tonight, if you can.